Do you know that some people, they get turned on by a doll? Like literally a doll? How do you get turned on by a doll? The form and the shape associated in your brain with sensations and sexuality, and they're going to go fuck a doll. What kind of person want to fuck a doll? That's a very particular person. Now that may be you. Shout out to you if you like fucking dolls. Put a comment below, like, subscribe. Let us know how you like fucking your doll. The point is, what's the difference between a rubber doll and a woman doll, an organic doll? It's the same. You get turned on by the shape and form. In the case of the organic doll, it's warm, I suppose. And then you just use it to masturbate, okay? That's a very particular approach to sexuality. It means there's no dimension to you. But how you get aroused by something that's dead? There's nothing there. In the case of the doll, it's totally dead. In the case of the woman, it's not. I don't want to say it's dead because it's still alive, but there's nobody's home. That's very odd, don't you find? That means I don't want any intimacy. I don't want any connection. I don't want any vulnerability. Vulnerability doesn't mean you're weak, but it could reveal weakness. I don't want to be in the space with another person. So you get aroused by a form. Well, I can tell you in my experience, once upon a time, that was the case for me. Today, you can give me the prettiest form, pretty forms. Because it's a form of vitality that may circulate in it. And I mean, yeah, well, sure, whatever, it's a nice and pretty thing. What turns me on, literally turn on, what activates my sexual energy is the woman's presence. She's there. It's her. Then I got a body. At the bodily level, because I have a body also, and bodies like to touch each other. Yeah, but it's great, but I don't, the body's a body, it's whatever. Who cares? It's her, the presence. That's literally the life in the body. And when the life in her and my life in me meet, it turns me on. No, it doesn't turn me on. How can I reformulate this? It potentizes the energies. So it becomes delicious. Not pressure delicious. Another kind of delicious. You know when you go eat a meal and you're in a hurry and you buy something at a stand and you're like eating your hot dog or your fries or whatever you eat, quick, fast. It's a form of delicious, right? You're just like gobbling it, and then you're done, right? Is it really delicious? Something in you finds it delicious. But is it really delicious? Does it satisfy you? So pressure sex, that means section when you're tense, gives a form of delicious. It's pressure. Everything is tense. And when tension increases in your body and you meet her and the tension, so the tension in you just increases. And for a little moment, the energy tries to circulate but can barely circulate, and there's so much pressure, it gives you like, oh my God! Right? It's like eating junk food when you're really hungry. Is it really good? Not really. Versus on the other side, intimacy. It ain't got nothing to do with that anymore. It's coming from a relaxation space. I've spoken about this multiple times. It's coming from a relaxation space, which means you relax, more energy circulates, more presence comes in, more connection, more dialogue. Do you understand? There's a dialogue, there's an actual person there. It's not just the body. A person with a story. This is all happening in silence. People who are very somatic understand. When you look at a person move, you can tell a lot about who they are. You can tell a lot about how they think. You can tell a lot by their experiences. As an osteopath, you can see somebody walking. You can say there's something stuck here in the hip. There's something here stuck in the spine. You can see. This is just still surface stuff, but it just gives you a little more dimension to the body. So when you're in intimacy with a woman and you're dancing with her, sexually speaking, body with body, you're entering into her world and she's coming in contact with yours. You get to discover all those things. Who she is, what she's lived, what she's been through, what she likes about herself, what she dislikes, what she wants to hide, why she wants to hide it, what's the real energy behind that, etc., etc. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because you're dealing with a human being who's technically infinite. All of that is in the dance. Now that's a lot of power. That's a lot of energy. And you can only have access to this when you start to relax, which is the opposite of quick. Let's come, which comes from tense. Let's make smaller and smaller and smaller. So on one hand, intimacy, the way I understand it, intimacy and sexuality is the expansion versus what people live is the contraction. Now, I'm not saying the contraction doesn't have a sensation. Of course it does. That's why you go for it. It's a quick fix. It's like a cheap drug. I didn't say no, but it comes from contraction. So when you are now with a woman that you don't know or barely have any connection with, and you yourself are close to yourself, and now you are going like a prowler trying to get something from her, when there's no connection, you have no commitment, you have no intent in building something, and you want to take what's precious from her while giving as little as possible, and she is exactly doing the same with you. There's a hustle. How the hell do you relax? You don't. You're tense, she's tense, there's a game on, there's got a game on. You may enjoy the game at a certain degree because it's a game, right? Maybe the game is pleasant. Hopefully it is. There's a synergy in the game itself of who's going to screw who out of what, right? But at the end, what's happening? You're just tensing. Heart is tensing, heart is tensing, heart is tensing. And you're becoming more and more small and small and small. And so is she. Because I cannot show you anything of who I am. Probably the person doesn't know nothing about themselves. But let's say that they do. And no, you're not going to have access to it. So what the hell's left? The facade, whatever role you're playing, if you can, and whatever role she's playing, they're meeting and they're rubbing. And that's it. But the rest, everything else about you is squeezed, pushed aside. So that's called tension sex. I ain't got nothing against that. And you can learn how to expand tension sex. You can learn how to expand anything when you put your attention. It's like a science. How can we get more out of nothing? And you find ways. And if you bring substances in it, like Coke or alcohol, which kind of gives the impression of relaxation when there is no relaxation because you're really tense, etc., all kinds of things and techniques to just kind of like, how do we expand and enhance an experience which is based fundamentally on contraction? And what are you really looking for at the essence of you? Go out of the sexual scene. You're looking for expansion. You're looking for a greater experience of yourself. You're looking for a place of relaxation. You're looking for a place where there's love. What's love? It's not the circulation of life force inside of you. Well, that's not going to happen. How can you? Here you are, a thief, and she's trying to con you, and you're both trying to con each other, trying to get a feeling. Now, I understand this. And in all of that tension, there's so many psychic manipulations that are possible. And guys know this, and girls know that also. You're a player. What's a player? I'm going to psychically manipulate you to give you a feeling to kind of open you up. So now we have a feeling. We caught a feeling, as they like to say. Well, how did you catch your feeling? You have no relation. There's no commitment. There's no safety. There's nothing real. How did you catch your feeling? Well, because we're sorcerers. With our minds, we know tricks. Yeah, so that creates a form of opening, which is just a hack, that you have a psychic capacity to create a hack in a person, which creates a sensation. I just told you, this is it becomes a very elaborate game. I have nothing against it, but it's all based on the same thing. And how do you feel when you leave? I felt amazing. Yeah, but when you're sober, stop trying to hide it. What's on the other side? It's the opposite game. It's the expansion game, which is based on relaxation. And relaxation means what is reveals itself. So then, of course, if you're insecure, you're going to feel insecure. Of course, if you dislike yourself, you're discovering that you dislike yourself. Of course, if you feel powerless, you're going to discover that you're powerless. It ain't got nothing to do with the girl. That's you. That's how you feel. And technically, there's nothing wrong with you, but it shows that you're weak. So all these things need to be strengthened. And there's no amount of praise that she may give you that's going to make you feel not powerless or empowered or the man, because you're not. Great, fix it. Then you come back to the arena and you can relax more because there's your nervous system and your body is stronger to be able to contain more circulation. And circulation is energy, and energy is connected to the mind, right? It's one and the same. One is Shakti and the other one is consciousness. Okay, sorry, I apologize. We understand, okay? So that's the game. Well, tell me why I'm doing this. Because this sucks, that's why. For me, if it works for you, enjoy. I have nothing, I don't give a fuck what you do. Why I don't do it? Because it's boring. It bores me. What's the best that I get out of that? A fleeting sensation that I'm victorious when I just lost. I've betrayed I promised the woman something, because that's how you get sex from a woman, by promising her that you care, and you don't. You just stole. And then she goes home and she feels like shit. and you feel like shit, and the outcome of all this is shit. So what are you creating with your sexual energy? Shit. Great. If you like shit, eat shit. End of story. Who am I to judge? I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't like shit. It's not my favorite meal. I like life, so I want to create life. So my sexuality is the enhancement of life. That's how I approach it. Now, considering where we're coming from, there's a long way to go. That's why it's not for everybody. Considering where we're coming from, where the state of humanity today, it's fucked up. Do I need to remind you this? No. You all know that, but y'all don't want to remember that, and y'all don't want to realize to what degree it's fucked up. It is insanely fucked up. It is so fucked up, it's never been as fucked up. In other words, your sexuality is as fucked up as humanity is fucked up, and you barely understand how humanity is fucked up because you have no sense of how fucked up you are to understand how fucked up humanity is. And I'm not talking about from let's be pessimistic, humanity is it's raining and there's a cloud and like let's kill ourselves. That's not. I'm a practical person. No, I'm just saying it's what it is. So that's what you get. If you want to go towards something else, you have to contend with this current state and you're going to have to get to the other side. And that's a lot of work considering the situation. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say it's easy. It's certainly not for everybody. It may be for you if it is wonderful. If it's not, continue and enjoy what makes you happy. Whatever floats your boat. This is Kali Yuga. Whatever floats your boat, bro. If you're a giraffe and you want to pretend that you're a zebra, amazing. Be a fucking zebra. Who am I to tell you that you're not a zebra? I don't give a fuck what you do. It's your life. Kali Yuga. But are you really a zebra? Shh. You certainly are.